Rich with the Bass University here, along with Texas Parks and Wildlife, and this is how you submit scales to Texas Parks and Wildlife. It's a simple process. They need 3 scales in a dry envelope, and that's how they can collect their data. So let me show you a little bit how to submit your catch. Whether you have an envelope or just a piece of paper, something to keep that scale dry, pull 3 scales off of your 8-pound fish or 24-inch fish or better and submit them. All right, guys, let's get some scales off this fish and get them submitted to Texas Parks and Wildlife. We're gonna pull this big, beautiful fish out of our either live well or cooler, something to keep them healthy, keep them alive. You can use your fingernails, you can use needle nose pliers, you can use tweezers, really anything that you can get a nice tight grip on these scales to pull them out. It doesn't hurt the fish to pull a few scales off. So let's get them off and get them to the Texas Parks and Wildlife. This first one I'm just gonna pull off with my finger. I can see it, it's pretty easy to grab. So there's 1 scale, okay? I'm gonna set this scale just off to the side here, but after I get 3 scales off, I'm gonna make sure to put them in something dry right away. So there's scale number 1. For this one, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and use our needle nose pliers. This is another method you can use to get the scales. So there's our second scale, okay? Again, I'm gonna set it off to the side, keep it somewhere where it's not gonna get lost. Now this third method, I'm gonna use tweezers. This is another way that you can get a scale off of your fish. Just like that. Scale comes off, okay? I'm gonna set these scales down now. Get my dry object. For this, I'm just gonna use just use a napkin. Everybody's got them in the boat. We know what they're used for. Gonna pull it off. 1 scale. 2 scale. And our magic 3 scales. We wanna get this fish back in the water, guys. I'm gonna cover them up for just a minute here. We're gonna put our fish back in our live well to make sure she gets released healthy. Now, once I got that fish back in the live well, again, I'm gonna double check, make sure I still have all 3 of my scales. There they are, okay? Now, there's a few ways you can submit them. You can keep them in a dry paper towel, you can put them in an envelope, and as long as you get that envelope to the Texas Parks and Wildlife, they're gonna study this fish and they're gonna retrieve data to keep growing big Texas bass.